So, what is Safe Haven about?
Safe Haven is, it's really a movie about two people who two broken people who've been through relationships that they thought were going to be, the fairy tale ending. They didn't work out for whatever reason. And it's a movie about two people getting a second chance at love. And that's what I think the core of this movie is about, and that's what the fun of making this movie was in getting there, in finding the little moments, two people that aren't necessarily looking for it, who slowly realize that maybe this is the one for me.
Tell me a little bit more about Alex and what he goes through from beginning to the end.
Well, Alex is a guy who's been sort of a shell of himself for the last couple of years after losing his wife. He's been raising these two children on his own, and sort of, not only raising them on his own, but running the store and not really probably having dealt with the grief of her loss so well. And as a result, he's had some issues with his son. His daughter's maybe a little bit too young, but it's a guy who doesn't necessarily know what the right thing to do is all the time, and he's learning as he goes. I think like most parents do. So when Katie sort of drops out of the sky, he doesn't really know what to make of that, and it's not, obviously she's a beautiful girl, but it's not something you can just jump into. He's got to make sure that fit is okay with his kids, and how is that whole dynamic going to work. So there's a lot of other stuff to consider.
So, what is it about Katie that ends up pulling Alex into her life and wanting to protect
What
her?
is it about Katie?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing he notices that Katie is, the kids sort of gravitate to her. At least little Lexi does. And for the first time, he opens himself up to the idea of, wait a second, if she's good enough for Lexi, she's definitely good enough for me. So, that is the first time I think he notices, and then he realizes that, she's sort of been hurt, is sort of not really sure what's next for her, and the fit just feels right between these two. And it isn't until he really finds out about her that he has to decide whether or not he's going to really go all in, or if he's going to cut his ties and let her go.
And Katie, played by Julianne Hough, can you tell me a little about working with her?
Yeah, Julianne Hough is she's perfect for this part. She really is. She's a girl who has this incredible accessibility. She's a very open person, and she's very likable. But she also has the ability to put up that wall when she needs to. Not so much Julianne, but I could tell that when she came in to audition for the part, that she dealt with some things in the past that she had to overcome. And she's a fighter, this girl. I mean, you don't get as far as she has without being a fighter. And so, behind that sparkly, beautiful facade, there's a girl who is fearless, and that's what this character needed to be.
Yeah. It seems like you guys had so much fun on set, like in all the behind-the-scenes footage that I've watched. You and Julianne and the kids, Noah and Mimi, like you guys got along so well. And with Lhasa, just what was it like being down in Southport, and was it just a pretty easygoing experience overall?
Yeah, it was. They set the perfect stage for us to do our thing, make the best movie that we could. And whenever you have a director that kind of sets that kind of a tone, it puts everybody it makes everybody, first of all, want to do their best work. Everybody was there to have their creative input and to make the best movie that they could. You know, myself and Julianne, it's important to me to also kind of help set that tone as best I can. You know, I want the crew to know that we appreciate the work that they're doing, and I want Julianne to feel as comfortable around me as I hope to around her, and these kids need to feel especially comfortable if they're going to be believable as my kids. So, you know, along with the setting, along with you know, great beaches and stuff to hang out at on the weekends, it was a perfect place to make a movie. One of the best times I've had.
Yeah, I hear you're a pretty good crabber as well.
Yeah, I'm an excellent crabber.
Yeah.
I'm an excellent crabber.
You caught.
I caught a crab. I did catch a crab, and it was a tough one to catch, and it took me a while, but that little bugger went crawling in there.
Or was it placed in there?
No. It was,
No?
I caught that.
Yeah.
I caught that crab.
So why do we as society, why do we love stories like this? Why are we drawn to these romances?
I think that there's something about Nicholas Sparks movies that people, usually women, can relate to. You know, there's something about it that there's a wish fulfillment. There's something like that could happen to me, and I think that he really does that well. He speaks to the heart, and he finds something relatable in all these characters. And even though there are threads of familiarity in each one of these stories, they're all very different in their own right. And this one in particular has there's an edge to it that I liked about the story. I liked that, wow, this doesn't fit. This is a little scarier than what I'm used to from Nicholas. And so I liked that. And I liked that if I was going to do one of these, that it would somehow separate itself. I didn't want to fall into, I didn't want to just, I wanted to have it be its own movie and special in its own way.